Welcome back, guys. So what I've done, the session's pretty much exactly the same. I just panned a couple things out on this section with that shaker. But what we're going to do in this video is we are going to start to dive into the arrangement with more depth because the arrangement needs a lot of help. It needs to fit that future bass feel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and do some arrangement-oriented things with the drums. Like I have this long verse section and it's 16 bars long, and that's really long for verse. And it's also a long time for a drum groove to stay the exact same. So I'm going to need to start to throw in maybe another percussive element or a hi-hat or something to get the track moving along. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to throw in an extra kick drum in the second half of the verse. So first half is 8 bars, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They say that there's no such.
And I'm going to mute the bass for this. And this may not even be the instrument that I use, but this is just how I'm building through the arrangement. So there's going to be the intro, and then it's going to come in probably with just a synth and her voice, drums.
They say that there's no such thing as fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch, but you got lips that I can feel.
All right, so see how that bass comes in? It's helping move the arrangement along. It's still a verse. It still is really the same chord progression and everything, but now let's take that element and let's add some more kick drums. So what this is basically called the rule of 8. Every 8 bars do something different so you don't give your listener ear fatigue. They don't get bored. All right, so bar 13, this is the new 8. This is where it starts.
You got lips that I can feel. Hands that hold.
All right, so let's add some more kick drums here. So I'm gonna let's put one right there. So that goes.
You got lips that I can feel.
Let's actually try doing. I'm gonna do it right here because I need a short one. So let's shorten this guy up, and let's put it right there and see if we can't get this. Let's try that, and then let's grab this kick, put it right there. So let's try this.
You got lips that I can feel.
Oh, that'd be cool. Let's get one kick right there, but it's gonna be a little bit long, so we'll just copy and paste it right here, and we will shorten it. All right, let's try this.
You got lips that I can feel. Hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now.
All right, we're gonna copy and paste that over to the same section. So it's gonna go about right there.
You got lips that I can feel. Hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it.
All right, so then the breakdown obviously is a brand new 8. So we're gonna have to do some things to address that as well. But for now, this is a good start leading into the verse section from first half of the verse to second half.
Thing is fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch, but you got lips that I can feel. Hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now.
All right, and let's unmute these first 2 little hits right here. This little metal snare. So now we've added the bass and that to the second half of the verse.
See or touch, but you got lips that I can feel. Hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now.
All right, let's mute the ones coming after the snare. I don't know if I want that there.
You got lips that I can feel. Hands that hold and eyes so clear.
All right, guys, so what I did off video was I loaded up some drum sample packs. We have a pack that I'm making for Future Bass right now, a pack by Get That Sound, and just a folder of Foley sounds that I've acquired over the years. Foley is something that I think is really important and underused in a lot of genres of music. If you don't know what Foley is, it's just a term to describe. Typically, it describes like the sound design process of putting sound into movies. You know how when they film a movie and like someone puts a cup down on the table, or someone far away like opens a door out of scene, they close the door and you can still hear it. Some sound designer, some post-production gal or guy, they're adding those sounds in after the fact. Well, Foley is just real life recording. So I like layering that stuff with a lot of my drum samples. And when I'm making drum samples, I throw a lot of that stuff in. Right now, there's a really popular sound in this sound that we all know, or almost all of us know. It comes from a certain tech or computer type or anything. I'm not going to tell you, see if you guys can guess, but I add a lot of Foley into the drum samples, and I'm not trying to shell out and sell my sound sets or sample packs, but I do want to take just a second to really emphasize how important it is to use high quality drum samples in your music and your productions. If you feel like you have to mix your kick or mix your snare, your hi-hat to get the sound right, get a different sample, load up a different plugin. With Sonic Academy's kick, your kick should sound good right away. But with things like snares and claps and hi-hats and percussion, you shouldn't have to drench them in reverb. You shouldn't have to compress and EQ a bunch to get them to fit, because it just makes the process a lot harder and longer. So for instance, the drums that we've been using right now, they're unmixed. Right? And that snare specifically sounds really good. And that's one that I made with Foley. The Foley at the end. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the hook and we're going to throw in some new sounds. I like to start with the most important part of the production first and work my way backwards. Now that I got a clear picture of where I'm going with the track, my thought process is, okay, I want to fill in the drums in the hook, because if I start with the verse, I'm going to put too much shit in the verse and I'm going to make it too complex. I want to start with the hook and then work my way backwards, simplifying as I go. So I really like this snare. So I'm going to use that most likely in the verse, and I doubt I'll find one I like more for the verse. But what we need to do then, so it's not super monotonous for listeners' ears, I'm going to throw in a new snare under it. That one should work. So we're going to pop that in to Logic and drag this and copy and paste it out over the snares in the hook. And what we're going to do is, let's turn this down a bunch. Right, so it's going to add just a little element of, oh, there's something new there. It's going to get a little bit bigger, obviously, with the dynamic range of that section of the track, but also with the, there's a new sound. You can hear that there's this little high-pitched sound to that snare. Right, so I like it. I think we'll roll with it. Makes it a little bit tighter at the transient. So we'll roll with that. Now that sounds pretty good. Okay, let's get these other little hits out. This is that shaker. All right, that sounds pretty cool. Now let's go find some Foley that we can use. I'm going to use this bike chain sample. I really like that, so we're going to make a new track down here. We're going to drag and drop this in. We'll call this bike chain Foley. Now, a huge part of drums and future bass is adding in weird, random little sounds. So I'm going to do, coming off of this, it might be kind of cool to get this little Foley hit. All right, let's change up this arrangement here. Let's meet this kick. All right, that might be cool. So listen to the vocals. See, there's this space right here. So anytime when there's space in a future bass track, you want to throw something in, go back and listen to that first video, and you'll hear all those examples, or just go listen to a future bass playlist. So her vocal is going to stop right there. All right, and what I did off camera also, I should note, I muted this one chord right here. So now there's complete space. Okay, and I muted the bass.
Die for you, I would die for you. Under earth, but I will lie for you. Out my mind for you. Make it right.
So we're gonna do that same thing here with the hi-hats. I've pre-chopped it off the video so you don't have to see all this stuff happen. You know, the boring stuff. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the hi-hats out right here. So now the energy of the track's gonna drop out right on that open track.
Die for you, I would die for you. Under earth, but I will lie for you. Out my mind.
Right. So I like where that's headed. So let's call this hook layer snare. I want to name these so I don't get lost.
Die for you, I would die for you.
All right, let's see if we can get this other little clap right here. So we have this little bar right here to kind of play with, a little half of a bar.
Under earth, but I will lie for you. Die for you, I would die for you. Under earth, but I will.
Ooh, it might be really cool to put a snare or a snap sound right there. Let's try that. Let's get crazy with this. Let's try, that might be weird. Sometimes weird stuff is cool, right? So let's drag and drop this in, and where the kick should go, let's try having like a snap.
Die for you, I would die for you.
All right, guys, we are back. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to quickly pop up to the clock here. You can see that says about 5:50 p.m. So I've been messing around with the drums here for about 2 hours. And I wanted to do this. One reason why I wanted to do this, how to make a tutorial course in real time and not show you how just to redo what I did, was to show you that this stuff does take a while. So I actually spent a good amount of time, about 2 hours here, getting the drums how I wanted them in the drop. So I'm going to cover all the changes that I added to the drop section, the hook section. And we're going to talk about those and talk about the theory and kind of sound design behind them. So where we left off, we had the snares, the kick, and the hi-hats kind of formulated. And if you remember, I was messing around with the with this little like glitch part where we have a break in the vocal. And we moved the chords out of the way. We cut the other elements out, like the hi-hats and the other drums. Well, if you remember that right here, on about bar, right here at about 30, bar 30, I had these sounds right here, and I was messing around with putting a snap on the one. Well, what I've done is I've still kept those, but I've moved those to the second half of the first 8, or of the 8 bars of the hook, the drop section. So now we have in the first part, we have a new sound. We have a girl doing a breath. Look at that sexy little breath, and then coming out of it, a little glitched out drum fill. All right, so this will allow me to play the chords more direct, and the reason why I changed that is because having the snap on the one gave it this real cool bounce, but I think it made it too confusing coming less than 2 bars, into the actual hook. So this is more straightforward, and we'll listen to that. I've also added 2 crash cymbals, one out left and one out right. This one's at about 15. I wanted it at about 15. It was at 13. And this one's at about 20, just out left and right, because I'm starting to create and mold my stereo image with the drum tracks. Now, I want to show you a really cool trick that I do with my cymbals. So here's just a crash cymbal sample that I've made. And I put a bit crusher on my crash cymbals. So what we do here is we'll go to distortion, and you can do this with any bit crusher, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is solo this other cymbal to the right. Hear that? I love that. Let's try a rap. Fold. So what we're going to do here is we're going to automate the bit crusher control here. We're going to do the mix. So the mix, let's set the mix on the actual plugin down to 0. So this is easier. We'll do mix down to 0. So I don't want it on the actual transient of the crash cymbal. I want it about right there. I want it to warm up. Well, not warm up, but digify. Kind of get a nice little digital feeling going on with the tail of the crash cymbal. Right? It just makes this nice little hit. So we have cymbals coming in right on the down, because that'll be nice coming out of this breakdown. Okay, now another thing that I've added is I've added a looped Foley sound of someone walking. I've panned that out right. Now this is not in tempo with the track at all, right? I could maybe keep that centered depending on how the vocals feel. Okay, so that is just weird, but it works. I don't know why it does. You have to have it really low in the mix. I have everything on my mix really low right now, so my voice isn't really quiet comparatively. And we'll address that later in the mixing section of the tutorial course. But I love that. That adds a really nice element to the sound. So things that I've added off camera thus far are these sounds. We have this glitched out little vocal sound. Okay, and what I've done is I've stemmed out the vocal haze to individual tracks. So we have the gang haze right here, left and right. Okay, those are coming from Nexus. I'm actually going to use those. That was literally just a drum loop from Nexus. I am not ashamed to say I use Nexus. I love Nexus. So that's out left and right, wide left, wide right for the haze. We have the hi-hats right here still. Okay. And then I did add a couple new snare sound. I found this when I was looking for some Foley. It's just like a bubble pop. So that's now our snare. Our whole snare in the drop is this. That's a mean snare. So I really like it. And then I've also just changed up a couple of the kick drum patterns, but that's really it. So added the Foley, added or separated the haze, and panned those out left and right to give some stereo image. We added this little vocal glitch sound. This little hey, this sexy, that was terrible, but it's a sexy little hey. And then we have this section right here. Okay, and that snap and snare and percussion sound right here is on the 1, which is where the kick should be. So let's listen to the drop with just the drums. So I'm okay with the drums for the most part. I feel like about 85% of the way there. I might add open hi-hats later once I have the instrumentation done. But for now, I'm going to call that a day, and I'm going to move backwards because that's what we talked about. I like to move backwards. Now, I've muted the synth and the bass. I want to listen to this with just the drums, and I want to see if it's building in energy, because this is a really good way to check your tracks and see if your arrangement is going to get too boring and bland. Even with your drum tracks, you want the verse to be smaller than your drop or hook section, depending on what type of music you're doing. So let's listen to this.
They say that there's no such thing as fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch. But you got lips that I can feel, hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now.
All right, so that's building, and that's going to be much smaller sounding than this. The reason for that is there's a couple reasons. We have the layered snares here, so that the center of the mix on the snare hits bigger. We have that. We have more of these percussive sounds, offbeat percussive sounds occurring. They're not as sparse. It's kind of like a Jack U type sound. We have this Foley happening, right? We have the hi-hats, most importantly, and we have these haze, right? So, and the crash cymbal, it makes it hit harder. And her vocal, Luna did good vocal arrangement there. It's getting louder in pitch. It's a little louder and higher in pitch, rather. So really, I have to address the breakdown section at some point, but let's go back to the second half of the verse.
You got lips that I can feel, hands that hold and eyes so clear.
All right, so you just heard me kind of humming I was going, tss. I'm kind of hearing an open hi-hat type sound here. So let's throw that in, shall we? So we'll just go to right in here, and I'll create a new track. And we'll call this open hi-hat. All right, so I have a sample folder pulled up, some open hi-hats. Let's listen to some of these. It's too hard. One kind of a relaxed one. That could work. That could work as well. Oh, that's the winner. All right, so drag this into the second half of the verse, starting at bar 13.
You got lips that I...
Okay, it might be cool to have that happen on the downs. Just keep it real simple. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Or keep it simple, stupid. It is a really good acronym for remembering that simple music, as long as it's catchy and good, and that's the hard part, deciding what's good, I guess, because it's all subjective. But KISS, keeping it simple, comma, stupid. Don't be dumb with it and try to overcomplicate everything. So I don't want to do some weird polyrhythm right here. I'm just going to keep it simple and do hi-hats right on the down.
You got lips that I can feel, hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now.
All right, and we're missing a perk hit right here.
Hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down.
All right, so let's mute the drums actually here in the breakdown section, because what I'm probably going to do is do more of like a 4 on the floor type feel for this. And what that'll do is it'll do two things. The breakdown drums will be different from the verse drums, and then the hook drums are similar to the verse, right? It's that actual beat driven feeling. It's kind of a halftime feel. So if I have that the whole song, might get a little bit boring. So I either can just use dead space and just drop out the drums in the breakdown, or what I'm erring on the side of doing is I will actually just do some like really subtle 4 on the floor type drums. But right now, let's listen to the arrangement and see how it feels from beginning of the verse to second part of the verse with just the bass and the drums. I want to make sure that my drums are making the arrangement move along.
They say that there's no such thing as fate, but I don't trust much of anything that comes from mouths that I can't see or touch. But you got lips that I can feel, hands that hold and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now. Got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all.
All right, so that's pretty cool. So let's, in the breakdown, let's extend out these chords here. So we have kind of a 4 on the floor type feel. And let's delete this one here. Take that to there. Now this might be real cool. It'll help determine if I can even get the 4 on the floor feeling in there.
Feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all. I would ride for you, I would die.
So off camera really quick, I pulled in a kick sample, and it's just an acoustic sounding sample, right? It's kind of an ugly kick, hence the name Big Ugly Kick. But in this breakdown section, I think it'd be cool to go a little bit more acoustic, because it might open up the chorus to be it'll make the chorus sound even bigger when we get to the drop with all the future bass type synths. It'll be really huge and epic and awesome. So what we have here is we have coming out of this, it's still just the bass and drum.
Long now, got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now.
So I'm gonna treat this as a little bit of a build as well. So we're not gonna do like straight 4 on the floor at quarter note tempo. That would be, you know, every downbeat 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be too much to start out with. What I'm gonna do is probably just start on the just start literally like on the ones, and we'll see how that feels. And then maybe in the second half, we can build on that. I still don't want to do straight 4 on the floor, but let's try having some space in between some of these. Let's see how this sounds. That might be kind of cool. Let's move these just down real quick, and those are muted. Let's see how it sounds with the 4 going on the 1, 2, 3. All right, we can try quarter notes on this. It'll be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. I actually think I like going like this. I think I'd rather have like an instrumental build, like reverse effects or riser or some type of noise build there, as opposed to going you know, and then like a big explosion. I think that'd be a little bit better. But let's get in a let's duplicate our main kick here. So we're just gonna make a new track of this big ugly kick, and we're gonna pull down one of the samples from our main kick and layer that with the big ugly kick, just to give it some more pop, because this kick has some more zip to it. So let's get those like that, and then we'll just copy and paste the rest of these out. Now I might try to get in a snare on one. Let's try that actually. So we got this. Let's try listening to this. Okay, let's see what happens if we get one of these like offbeat percussion sounds. Should I just get that right there? That'd be kind of cool. Every other one of these hi-hats, just to vary it up to the ear, get one of these little percussion sound in. Okay, let's get one more right there. I don't know why Logic wanted to move it like that. So I'm going to copy and paste the rest of these out real quick just to get those kind of every other hits. Let's get rid of this one. And that goes there. All right, let's hear how that sounds coming out of the end of the verse, because that's really the main importance here, is to make sure it still sounds good coming out of the verse.
You got lips that I can feel, hands that out and eyes so clear. You can see me through the smoke now, got me feeling like I'm home now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all now. Lay it all, lay it all, lay it all down. Say it all, say it all, say it all. Ooh, I would ride for you, I would die for you. Under it, but I would lie for you, out my mind for you.
All right, I think that will work. So we are pretty much done now with the drum arrangement. Of course, some things are going to fill in, but now I have the arrangement to where I actually am like, okay, here's the definitive verse, here's the breakdown section, and here is the hook / drop section, which we'll expound on in a little bit. But we're going to break now, and I'll see you in the next video where we are going to be checking out potentially doing some different chords throughout the track. I'll see you guys there.
If you like this course, why not head over to sonicacademy.com, where we have hundreds of complete track builds in every genre imaginable, including all the project files and samples. You'll also find tutorials on plugins and synths, mixing and mastering, over 250 tech tips, artist interviews, along with our award-winning plugins, samples and preset packs.